the F-18s because of the spread on the
Right.
tail fins. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you guys are gonna win that argument down in the comment section, but you guys can keep fighting about it all that you want. I do believe it is coalition aircraft that's flying over there.
Yeah, it looks like the most asked question in our classes is, why did it seem like some of them were celebrating? Yeah, as opposed to just saying, oh, those must be evil people or mentally ill if they're laughing or celebrating bombs hitting, because they could see it, right, from where they were. Why would they be celebrating that? Are they taking out criminal networks in their areas that we've been talking about for years? Oh, there's our squirrel friend. I can't flip this one, but I'll see if... Oh, he ran off with his bread. You want some more bread? Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good question. So I'll go ahead and let the moderators explain that. If you can't put it together with other things we've been saying, because the answer should be there. It's not just about listening, though, right? It's accepting those things. And when people just cast it off as conspiracy for so many years and then attach that to a person. Yeah. Once a, always a. Well, we know that's not true. What would the younger you have told you? I don't know, but I'd listen to some of the younger me's, but definitely not all of them. Yeah, some of them were crazy, you know? Bad decisions. Yeah, my goodness. Well, you know what they say, it's hard to make good decisions in bad environments, right? I mean, you can't expect the impossible, can you? And then when you expect the impossible and then want to just mock and laugh at people for that instead of trying to help patch the holes, you know, you just want to make it bigger. Right, because the holes are over there, right? It's not raining on your parade. Right, so yeah, and you're actually making money from it raining on their parade. I mean, you don't gotta laugh at them though, right? Sometimes you do, right? Depends. I know, it's almost best if you just see the stuff that makes you think they deserve it. Insane, huh? Yeah, we're gonna start a full read on self-improvement. We are gonna finish the word. We're still on chapter 9, right? Yeah, we will finish that in a little bit. We're just starting this one for now. Yeah, different classes, you know, different times.
Turn your recycle.
You know, well, we actually finished it twice earlier and you weren't here, so we're doing this now. Hi, how are you doing right now? It is. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I have brownies in the oven. Yeah, don't let me forget those. Actually, I'm gonna go check them. Those smell good. Alright, 7 minutes. Don't let me forget. Yeah, you like this one? Did you read it with us last time? I think the last time we did this one was July of last summer, probably. Some of it, yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. Alright, self-improvement. This was a gift from Mary and Yeah, people used to gift books to this place and stuff, especially back when the priests were here. And they had the retreat center, and the Oblates were here. Benzinger Brothers Incorporated, 1939. Preface. Printed in the United States of America. Benzinger Brothers is Benziger Brothers. Benziger. Benziger. Sure. Whatever you say. Preface. This book deals with the difficulties man encounters in life insofar as these difficulties have their origin in human personality. It aims at showing that much more of the difficulties and troubles man has to wrestle with spring from his own personality, or even are his own doing, than is generally believed. It deals with the many reasons why a man may feel dissatisfied with himself and may desire to become different, and it endeavors to show that this desire is not at all hopeless, that man has many more chances of changing and of making himself change than common opinion will concede. The arguments of the following pages are drawn from experience. They are not mere ideas derived from some philosophical or speculative idea on human personality, but they are nevertheless based on a definite philosophy. No treatise on human nature, or any side of it, can indeed dispense with such philosophical basis, nor does it ever, though some authors may not be aware of their starting from a definite and general philosophy. Many of the differences of opinion which give rise to such a lot of controversies in psychology and pedagogy, not to mention other fields of research, arise not because one scholar has got hold of facts the other ignores, but from their starting from opposite platforms, that is, from their adhering to opposite philosophies. This book is based on Christian philosophy and Christian morals. They supply the general trend of the reasonings, but they are not the point from which these reasonings start. All that is explained in the following chapters is based on experience. It is facts and not speculation, and these facts may, in a way, contribute to prove the general and philosophical point of view to be true, and therefore to be the one which will be most helpful in arranging our life. Three more minutes. Its being based on Christian philosophy does not make this book a treatise on religion, nor even a religious book in the true sense of the word, though the introduction of certain notions belonging to theology, example of grace or providence or sin, cannot be avoided altogether. This book is one of this book is one of psychology, and written from the point of view peculiar to the psychologist. Nor is it philosophical, though it is based on a definite philosophy, and sometimes makes appeal to philosophical ideas. This book is, in the main, one of practice. Its intention is to make clear things every man may understand, and to give advice every man may follow, and to show ways accessible to everyone. I'm going to reread that. Does that make sense? Its intention is to make clear things every man may understand, and to give advice every man may follow, and to show ways accessible to everyone. One need not study philosophy to become better. Nor does its being used on Christian morals make this book one on morality. It is argued indeed that the way prescribed by morals is not only the best, but also the surest, if we want to attain satisfaction and a life as free from fiction as is allowed to man. This does not mean, however, that this book is on morals. So far has the statement of morals come in. They do so because they have been found by experience to be useful rules of human behavior. A reader desiring... Oh, God. Oh, yes, I must go check the brownies. Yeah, the mint chocolate ones, they're really good, aren't they? Alright, let's see, where were we? I'm just going to start there. This does not mean, however, that this book is on morals. So far has the statement of morals come in. They do so because they have been found by experience to be useful rules of human behavior. A reader desiring to know more of the principles of the philosophy of human nature will be disappointed. This book is not on them, nor on the theory of psychology. It is the outcome of many years of observation, of practice, and of intercourse with many people. It does not aspire at being more than a summary of these experiences. In summarizing these experiences, many details had to be left out. A complete treatise on the difficulties of human life and of the mistakes made by man, on the reasons why these mistakes are made, would have to be much larger, if such a task can be done at all. The author is fully conscious of the incompleteness of his arguments, but he is also convinced of the fact that the mistakes or faults of bad habits or troubles occurring in every man's life are, all of them, essentially of the same nature, and that it is, therefore, sufficient to describe and to analyze some few to help in understanding them all. Many a reader will feel when pursuing these pages that he has been told nothing he did not know already, and he will be quite right. All these things detailed in this book, more or less, are known to everyone, but they are known in a dim or veiled manner. They have to be drawn into a clear light of consciousness for the sake of becoming helpful. The writer of these pages hopes not for more than for just this, that his words will be found to state but things known. If they are known to everyone, they will be true, and they will tell but some essentials of human nature. Truths have to be told and considered, and not only to be felt. As long as these truths are not made fully conscious, as long as they are not made the very rules guiding our life, they are rather useless. This book desires nothing more than to show to everyone that he knows already what it aims with.
He knows me where it snows, I ski in and they froze. I don't know nothing but no ice, I'm just cold. 40 milli subs or so I've been told. From the screen to the ring, to the pen, to the king. Where's my crown? That's my bling. Always drama when I ring.
What is that from?
It's a song a YouTuber made. It's thick of it. The reason it goes from the screen to the ring to the pen to the king is because he used to mainly do like gaming and stuff like that, and then he became a boxer. And he said to the pen because he wrote a song. So to the pen, and then to the king. I don't know.
What YouTuber was this?
KSI.
That's funny. And you remembered all the words.
Yeah, it's funny. His song. The reason his song is so well known in the first place, is because it's known for being just like the song that everybody clowns on because of how like corny it is. I don't know.
Like a Barney song?
Yeah, something like that.
If you want one of those hints, there's cold ones in the fridge.
Okay.
Oh goodness, let's see. I'm just gonna restart that paragraph. Yeah, he's so funny. He remembers, he'll hear stuff and he remembers a lot of the words. He does a good job with memorization. But he does it not doing it with the intention of memorizing it, he just kind of does it. Yeah. Many a reader will feel, when pursuing these pages, that he has been told nothing he did not know already. And he will be quite right. All the things detailed in this book are more or less known to everyone, but they are known in a dim and veiled manner. Yeah, putting a song to it does help with the memorization. They have to be drawn into the clear light of consciousness for the sake of becoming helpful. The writer of these pages hopes not for more than for just this. Blech. The writer of these pages hopes not for more than for just this. That is, his words will be found to state but things known. If they are known to everyone, they will be true, and they will tell but some essentials of human nature. Truths have to be told and considered, and not only to be felt. As long as these truths are not made fully conscious, as long as they are not made the very rules guiding our life, they are rather useless. This book desires nothing more than to show to everyone that he knows already what is amiss with him, and that he knows the ways how to improve. By putting these things openly before the eyes of its readers, this book hopes to enable them to use what they know and to do what they can. We may know perfectly what things are contained in a dark room, and we may also know how to handle those things, but we do not see them really, nor are we able to use them until the shutters are opened and the light of the day is flooding in. To open the windows of the human soul is all this book can hope to achieve. Rudolph Allers, Washington, D.C., Catholic University of America. Part 1, on the need and the chances of improvement. 1. Need we change? Need we change at all? It is really necessary to become different or better. Oh, 1 second. I bet the river is getting high. Yeah. Alright. I'll just restart that paragraph. Need we change at all? It is really necessary. Is it really necessary to become different or better? May we not go on being what we are and behaving as we do. We are not perfect, we are surely no saints. But as for being a saint, who can be expected to be one? They are expectations. Wonderful, admirable expectations. But we, you, and I, we were not born to be exceptions. And so, why worry about not being perfect? What did I say before? Oh, did I? Exceptions. Surely our neighbors have many reasons, good ones and bad ones, for finding fault with us. And we are quite right in thinking the same way of them. What they think of us we do not know exactly, but we can imagine it pretty well. Not being perfect, we cannot avoid giving offense sometimes, and to some people. But we manage to get along with them quite nicely, at least as a rule, and there is no plausible reason why we should bother about changing or becoming better. There are, however, some rather disturbing facts. One day, a friend, or maybe someone we are but slightly acquainted with, will remark on our behaving wrongly on a certain occasion, or he will, because he is merely cross, or because some words of ours have made him angry, suddenly reveal to us that he thoroughly disapproves of certain features of our character. We may get so angry too, and oftener than not, such a scene means the end of a friendship, or at least a definite estrangement. We find sure that he is, of course, wrong. His words have evidently been dictated by bad temper. He never really understood us. We are quite disappointed at his behaving in such a manner. We are sorry to lose him, but after all, it is perhaps better to get rid of him, since he proved to be so little capable of understanding us. So we think, and we try to push back the things he said into some remote corner of our mind, but they will go on rankling, and they will, in some quiet hour, turn up again and give rise to an uneasy feeling as to whether he has not been right after all. We may also become, without such an impulse from without, suddenly conscious of something being amiss with us. The accustomed feeling of being all right according to generally accepted standards gives way to a definitely uncomfortable state of mind, a state of dismay, of disapproval, of bad conscience, bad conscience. We feel troubled in our conscience, not because of this or that single action. Everybody has behaved rather badly sometimes in his life, but because of a feeling of not being what we ought to be in a more general way, we feel ashamed of the single more or less bad actions we know. We repent them perhaps. They are surely painful to remember, but this pain is, so they say, localized and circumscribed, concerned with well-defined points of our past life, definite days, definite places, involving certain persons, and so on. But this feeling of uneasiness is different. It is a general discomfiture. Discomfiture, cool word. Discomfiture and dissatisfaction, pervading our whole being, more troublesome than painful memories are, because of its vagueness, of its not referring to some particular fact. It is a feeling as if everything were wrong with us, as if our whole personality were in need of a thorough cleaning and rebuilding. Good, thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Now, where was I? Oh, what page were we on? I think we were over here, yeah? Oh, yes, we were right here. There is probably no one not having felt, one time or another, such things, though there are quite a few who are very clever in forgetting quickly these unpleasant experiences. At least they will not be noticed until they turn up the next time. There are other reasons to which may make us wish for some change of our personality, even though we are not too much dissatisfied with it. A man may indeed conceive the idea that he would get along with his fellows much better if he were different. He may discover that many of the troubles he encounters in his married life depend on the way he takes things and on how he reacts to certain situations. He may come to think that his being not as well liked as he would wish to be may depend on himself and not exclusively on other people. Disagreeable though this thought is, he has to face it. He has to consider the possibility of his own deficiencies and faults being at the bottom of his difficulties. The very moment this idea comes to him, he cannot but ask himself what is wrong with him and what he can do to improve things. There is, furthermore, the fact of what is commonly called bad habit. This name covers things of a widely different nature, ranging from some oddities of behavior, which are so far rather unimportant, to real immortality. Some bad habits are morally more or less indifferent. An absolute indifference in regard to morals do not exist, but nevertheless not to be neglected because they become a nuisance to others and often enough a serious handicap to the person addicted to them. I know everyone in class, well, if they don't exist. There is, furthermore, the fact of what is commonly called a bad habit. This name covers things of a widely different nature, ranging from oddities of behavior which are so far rather unimportant to real immortality. Some bad habits are morally more or less indifferent. An absolute indifference in regard to morals does not exist. I'm saying an absolute indifference in regard to morals does not exist, but nevertheless not to be neglected, because they become a nuisance to others and often enough a serious handicap to the person addicted to them. Right, I mean, and then sometimes misery loves company. To feed your addiction, you're feeding theirs. It's good to know, I guess. I mean, yeah, it's not always, people always go to drugs and alcohol with that, but these can be emotional states. Some people can get addicted to being angry. Right? There's an emotional release, cortisol, adrenaline, and people can become addicted to that. Now, there's a sense of control, too, and that's why a lot of people do self-talk, improv class. Right, when you do those things and you're accessing those emotional spaces, right, you're naturally getting chemical regulation. And you have to make yourself cry. I mean, does it just happen, right, to get that liquid to come out of your eyes? I mean, or is there a process you kind of have to mentally put yourself through? You got to imagine maybe something sad, right? Why bother? Just give me the drops. I'm not really an emotional person. Well, I know, but we want to feel that emotion. We want to see, right? People will be able to tell if you're just putting the water on your face. Right, so there's good to have a sense of what's being taken seriously, not seriously. I'm just in my own world, you know what? I'm not bothering anyone. Why is it bothering you? Oh, we're in the library? Oh, I apologize. You know what? I didn't even realize I was in the library. You know, pardon me. Okay? See, now I'm the idiot. Right? Now I'm in my own room. Right, now if you have, exactly, you want to be respectful of space. So if it is a bothersome, whether it be, is it you're drinking? Because so-and-so is drinking, and you're not complaining about them. Well, you're being loud and belligerent, and I don't like what you're talking about. Oh, so now we have a problem. So it's not the drinking, the alcohol. Right, now let's bring drugs. And a drugs, usually people, there's no problem, is there? If someone's a drug user, when does the problem come in? You cheating bastard. Now the drugs are a problem, right? I know, before the drugs weren't a problem. Now they are. Right. So I guess it all depends. Can you afford it, right? Why can't we pay for the light bill? Now it's a problem. You know what? Well, it wasn't a problem before, but now if we can't pay for the lights, and me and the kids are going to go hungry, I should get a job then? You son of a bitch. That wasn't the deal. I'm selling one of these cars. I'm going to sell one of these cars. Well, you're going to have to. Right, and now you've done all that. The money's running out. I mean, where's the problem? Is it the drugs? Is it the alcohol? Is it the behavior? Alright, no, people just really need to grow the fuck up, I think is what it is. And hopefully here in Augusta, Maine, they focus on the facts and concerns and address the very serious issues we've been talking about for years with our children when it comes to the overprescribing of SSRIs, the vaccines, what was going on with that, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. None of this has been addressed. And a lot of good people have been killed and disappeared and unalived. Witness protection. Some flipped the fuck out. It was really scary. Yeah, 2009 and 10, they were flipping out because they were implementing the hepatitis B shot and the vitamin K shot. And some of them were literally throwing themselves on their knees. Like, please, you gotta stop this. We're just, what the hell do you want us to do about it? I'm just some loser who lives with my parents. Some pothead. The fuck do you want me to do about it, bitch? I know, and then 2 weeks later you hear they're dead, and you're just like, well, I didn't do it. Oh, it must have been something to do with me because we had an argument. Yeah, well, it's because they're fucking throwing themselves on the ground acting like a fucking fool, crying about a goddamn vitamin K shot. The fuck? Vitamin K? Why the fuck should I care? It's a vitamin, right? And then, you know, as the years go by, you start to study it and other people start to bring up things, and then the whole COVID thing happens. You know, those people that were flipping out about the vitamin K said the blood clots. That's what the fuck they were talking about. Yeah, so where'd they go? I don't know. They freaking disappeared. They're gone. Amazing. And how about those people that were telling me not to talk to Alex Jones up at the park? That 2010. I remember the sick fuck with my kids when I mentioned David Wilcox's name. He threw my phone. Got pretty angry, didn't he? Yeah. Right, so anyways, it's pretty bad what's going on here, and the facts are the facts. We've been horrified and petrified for years, and thank goodness we have a lot of good people who work with us and help us not flip the fuck out and snap, which I know many of you have been brought to watch and wait for. I know, to help though, you want to prevent, right? Just keep an eye, and when and if it does happen, you'll have people there on the scene to help pick up the pieces. I really hope so. When you actually understand the abuse going on and what these children have been going through, pull your head out of your fucking ass. Let go of the ego bullshit and help the kids in the burning car, for fuck's sakes. I'm not quite sure what else it's gonna take to get that through your thick skulls. Unbelievable. I know many of you do get it. To all of you who do get it, where the hell are these leaves falling from? I swear, another leaf just fell. You don't believe me? Look, there's a leaf. That one just fell. You know, there must be some. See, the wind is blowing, so... Yeah, could have blown out of a gutter or something. So... Who am I yelling at? I know, right? Who the hell? These leaves coming from... They must be new. They just asked me who I was yelling at. Welcome to the bipolar coaster. Well, is it paranoid or... There are other reasons to which may make us... Oh, wait, we're down here. There is, furthermore, the fact of what is commonly called a bad habit. This name covers things of a widely different nature, ranging from some oddities of behavior, which are so far rather unimportant to real immortality, to real immorality. Some bad habits are morally more or less indifferent. An absolute indifferent in regard to morals does not exist, but nevertheless not to be neglected, because they become a nuisance to others. Because they become a nuisance to others. Oh man, because they become a nuisance to others, and often enough a serious handicap. New t-shirt, you are my disability. Often enough a serious handicap to the person addicted to them. Needless to mention instances. Exactly. Needless to mention instances. The figure of the man who is always clearing his throat, or of the other who incessantly turns a pencil between his fingers, of the woman who every second minute opens and closes her bag with a loud snap, of the girl who cannot refrain from munching candy during a concert and rustles the papers, of the person incapable of staying quiet and who steadily fidgets, and of the representative unpleasant of many equally unpleasant types sufficiently well known. Bad habits like these make a person appear rather repulsive. If a man has some remarkable qualities, people will put up with his disagreeable habits, though they will feel them to be as disagreeable as ever. They say of him, "He is very clever indeed, very instructed, rather interesting, quite nice, but... ... And there will always be some people with whom the but carries more weight than the rest of the qualities, but they ever so excellent. Harmless as such a habit may appear to the one who has it, if he is aware of it at all, it may become a very serious obstacle to success. Some habits one would not just call immoral are nevertheless a definite part of personality, and they may influence the relations with other people in a marked manner." You know, I never know to say definite or definite. To be a bad loser in play or in sport is not necessarily a sign of moral inferiority, though it may denote such a deficiency. The general suspicion aroused by such behavior is indeed not quite unfounded, though one has to be aware of hasty conclusions. The habit of fair play in sport is, on the other hand, no guarantee of thoroughgoing morality. A man may quite well be absolutely fair in sports and very unscrupulous in business. Being a bad loser, however, or unfair in play, gives rise to a definitely unfavorable presumption, and becomes thus the reason of a good many difficulties in social life. Heard that. What's that? No, well, see, after you let it cool for 30 minutes in the pan, and you want to pull it out, and then let it cool for another 30 minutes, and then you frost it. Yeah, you can stick it in the fridge if you want to frost it sooner. Good. Yeah. Alright, we're going to read a little bit more. It's 11:08 here. Okay, some habits one would not just call immoral are nevertheless a definite part of personality. Difficulties in social life. There are finally habits which are simply immoral. A person may be a habitual liar. He knows that by indulging in this habit, he is not only breaking the commandments of ethics, but also that he gets himself in trouble. He has had this experience quite a lot of times. He knows that he is sure to be found out. He really would prefer to be sincere and honest, partly because of the immorality of the thing, and partly because of the inconveniences arising therefrom. He wants to become better, but he does not know how to begin. It is very cheap advice telling him that he simply ought to speak the truth henceforth and not tell lies anymore. The trouble is that he will drift into his old habit without noticing it and without wanting to do so. Before he has time to reflect, he will give a false answer, and then he thinks it is too late. He must stick to his words and carry on his lie as long as it will last. His lying does not do any good, either to him or to others. He does not tell lies because he hopes to profit by them. He tells them because it has become a habit with him, and he would gladly get rid of this habit. He feels that he ought to change, and he would do so if only he knew how to tackle this habit. Some people are given to quite unreasonable fits of anger. Some people are given to quite unreasonable fits of anger. Does that sentence make sense to you? Some people are given to quite unreasonable fits of anger. Some people are given to quite unreasonable fits of anger. Others, instead of flaring off in anger, become cross. Both habits spoil the life of these persons and become a perfect nuisance to others. Certain persons are subjected to quite unreasonable attacks of fear. They discover enemies everywhere and feel surrounded by dangers threatening themselves or their relatives. Taking offense easily, feeling neglected, misunderstood, not loved enough, and whatnot is also a rather frequent feature of behavior which does anything but further happiness. These qualities are said to spring from temperament, and temperament is believed to be an inborn feature of personality, and to be accordingly immutable, beyond the grasp of will. People having such an unhappy temperament would be very glad if they could behave differently. They are, however, convinced that nothing can be done. Pages and pages could be filled by a list of reasons why a man wants to be different, but there is far greater problem which has to be solved in the interest of society and of the general moral standard. This problem arises from the fact that there are many people whose character and behavior deserves a strict censor, and who nevertheless are quite unduly satisfied with themselves and ignore altogether their having many, sometimes very grave defects. Yeah, it's a good learning and understanding too, and to have, some people are saying in class, they sometimes feel as though someone wants their attention, and if they can't give them the undivided attention they're seeking at that moment, then they all of a sudden go into this, well, you must not love me, and you're not giving me the attention I deserve, right? So that makes them uncaring, and you have to go find people who are caring. Yeah, it's an endless vicious cycle. That person, whoever is saying to you, yeah, they're not giving you the attention you deserve, or right, that's an issue they have. And it can be sad when you see that within someone who you do love and care about, and it can be almost surprising when they put that blame onto you, that responsibility, right? Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I know, you see it all the time. Yeah, that's an endless cycle when you try to get through to people. Yeah, I don't know. Is that ego or is it programming? Dare I say? Mm-hmm. Right, and I mean, how dare you not be understanding that they might be busy and have a lot on their mind? Right? So, right, and then there's that acceptance. Right now, while the kids are in the car, it's on fire, I understand, that you're very busy and you have a lot on your plate. Oh, okay, well, exactly, that's what the fire department's for, right? Call 911. Exactly. Right, so over and over again we go through that, and then sometimes you have the cases, kind of like these situations, the non-negotiable situations where, yeah, they don't see the fire. They don't see the abuse. It's not right there in your face. Like the Dexter stories, huh? Mm-hmm. Right, so then it becomes a matter of, I can't believe you're going to believe them over, right, and the thing can be hurt. And yeah, it's a process you got to go through and not feel, to be able to understand their feelings and positions and why they believe the things they believe, whether that be with the vaccines or the SSRIs or, can't you smell that smell? Okay. I saw that, but I don't think it's what you thought it was. Can we talk about that, people? Because it seems to be a mental illness. A lot of people are profiting from it. It was just fine and dandy, right? Right, so for decades, the concern there with a lot of people out here in the real world is these over-medicated people that go into these blackouts, they're manic depressives, bipolar, schizophrenics, they're prescribed all these medications, and they rape and torture little 3-year-old kids and throw them in the trash can, and they're so tired they don't even have time to talk about it. Guy's bothering me with all these questions, I'm tired. Didn't take my medication this morning, Right, I mean, just to have people that are in that mindset that they would actually get away with it, and then for them to be in that state of claiming those things, because if they do get caught, well, then at least they'll go to a mental facility and get treated nicely. How sad is it that there are people that are like that? And I mean, thank goodness, at least we have systems that'll take care of them when they get in there, right? Because usually people that do that stuff don't last long in those places, right? Yeah, actually they do. Yeah, all the time, and they get out. Yeah, not all prisoners are violent people. It's not fucking Project Oz everywhere you go. Yeah, maybe in your little movie world, have you been watching movies your whole life, or? Right, and you're living in the worlds where they're able to turn their heads to those things and get away with it and pay off the judges and things, so you don't even see it. You don't even see or hear about most of it, and now you're seeing and hearing about it, and you're getting upset with us because you feel as though we're saying it's your fault and you're fucking the kids. And we're like, no, not at all, dude. So you want to fucking drop the meatball for a second? You got some guys in the back we want to talk to, right? You got a problem with that? We very rarely make it through the front entrance, those guys will fucking take you out. They won't even put down their fucking meatball. Yeah, and you're gone, and they're gonna continue eating their meatballs, and the guys in the back don't even know you showed up. It's beautiful, isn't it? Mincemeat. Yeah, hopefully. We sure hope so. That's the goal, Right, exactly. Pages and pages could be filled by a list of reasons why a man wants to be different, but there is a far greater problem which has to be solved in the interest of society and of the general moral standard. This problem arises from the fact that there are many people whose character and behavior deserves a strict censure, and who nevertheless are quite unduly satisfied with themselves and ignore altogether their having many, sometimes very grave defects. Human nature is subjected to many self-deceptions, but if we want to know whether we are on the right way, we have first of all to get a true idea of what we are. We may be wrong in being satisfied with our personality, but we may be equally wrong in holding the opposite opinion. The desire for change, for developing another character, assuming another behavior, is not always the outcome of a sincere wish for moral improvement, not even always of a longing for greater efficiency. It not so seldom springs simply from vanity. Knowledge of one's own self is said to be the first step on the way to improvement. We have to know who and what we are first before finding out whether and in what sense we ought to improve. Before finding out whether and in what sense we ought to improve. The most important thing, therefore, is to get a precise idea of what one's own self. A precise idea of one's own self. Number 2, can we change? Though all the following chapters will demonstrate that we can change and how far personality and character may change, and that this change can be brought about by our own doing, it seems nevertheless advisable to make some few preliminary remarks on this subject. They appear to be indicated because there is a rather general conviction that character and personality are essentially immutable. The knowledge of being in need of change becomes neutralized and rendered ineffective by such a conviction. The prejudice of the immutability of personality may become a strong objection against all that will be detailed in this book. This prejudice cannot, it is true, be upheld any more after. This prejudice cannot, it is true, be upheld any more after all the facts upon which the arguments of these pages repose have become known. But prejudice may create a certain attitude of mind, making it impenetrable, more or less so, even for convincing reasons. It is therefore better to say right here some words on this topic. People will readily agree that a man may behave differently, that he may change his behavior even so far as to make others believe in a radical change of his personality, but such a change is considered generally as a kind of fake, as playing a role or wearing a mask. A man may learn to behave in such a way as not to shock his neighbors. He may learn to adopt the customs of his environment and to behave as the other people do. But it is doubtful, so this very common opinion runs, whether he may ever really become different, that is, whether his being can change. Many people are agreed, on the other hand, that a thorough change of behavior is to be expected only from a change of being. A behavior a person adopts because it is useful or agreeable to his fellows, and because not adopting it would give rise to many inconveniences, cannot be upheld continuously. The true nature of such a person is sure to leak out sooner or later. Men who are able to carry through such a role during a lifetime, and who are never found out, seem to exist only in fiction, but not in reality. Right, yeah, maybe in their own minds. Eye of the beholder. 'Cause I am whatever you say I am. Many people are agreed, on the other hand, oh, we read that paragraph, a man wanting to become different finds himself, as it seems, in the dilemma of having either to play a role and to risk being found out, or to give up becoming different altogether. The first does not appeal to somehow upright minds. The first does not appeal to a somehow upright mind, because it comes dangerously near to lying, even if there were not the risk of being unmasked. The second means going on suffering all the unpleasantness arising from one's present personality. But this conviction of character being immutable is not so general as it is believed to be. Even persons who openly profess this opinion do not act according to it. If a man were indeed fully convinced of the immutability of character or personality, he never would try to influence other people and to make them different. But mankind believes, and did always believe, in education. Education means, of course, more than merely imparting knowledge and teaching a certain kind of behavior. It is also, and even mainly, formation of character. There are indeed some who declare that there is, in truth, no such thing as education, that man is essentially uneducatable, and that the only thing we can do is to train him in a certain way and teach him to refrain from actions which become disadvantageous to society, and therefore have painful consequences for the individual. But even these people behave, when they have to educate others, as if they upheld quite the opposite view, notwithstanding the professed unbelief in the power of educational influence. The general attitude proves that the opposite conviction is too deeply rooted in human nature and to be destroyed by such pessimistic ideas. And we'll remind you again, this book was written in 1939. Before many of us were even born. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1939, right? The Benzinger brothers. Benzinger brothers, I'm saying it right. Yeah, and this book was a gift of Marianne LaRock. Do you know any LaRocks? L-A-R-O-C-K? Yeah, she put her little tag in here in the front of the book there. It's a gift to the Oblate House. Benzinger Brothers is out of New York, Boston, Cincinnati, Chicago, and San Francisco. This was written by Rudolph Allers. He was an MD, PhD, professor of psychology at the Catholic University of America. Hey, January 23rd, that's my birthday. January 23rd, 1939. Printed in the United States of America, to the Republic for which it stands. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, we can read more in a little bit. We'll pause there. It is a good book. I love this book. Thank you for requesting it. The Gig Lamps. Did you finish your picture? I'd love to see it. Good, good. You're welcome. Yeah, we'll do that one. Okay, thank you.